Hey, good morning, everyone. I made sure the microphone was working. I put up a War Thunder video last week. The mic wasn't on. I thought people would just enjoy watching it and just for the sights and sound, but then somebody was like, "How come you're not speaking?" So I thought, well, okay, let's go ahead and make sure the microphone's working. So, anyway, we are at the Dead Linger main website here, and we're just going to take a look at some of the Twitter posts from the previous week. The one I was starting off with was the comparison of new barn versus old barn. And just a quick look here. I think we talked about this once before, but I just wanted to point out that I think it's going to be important because I don't know if they're replacing the old barn entirely and just keeping the new barn. Just by the side by side comparison, and I hope they do this more comparison shots. Like it'd be very cool if they could take the same scene and put this is how it looks in the old engine, this is how it would look in the new engine. I mean that's probably near impossible to get to the same place, but it would be very cool if we see more comparison stuff. The look of the new barn looks really good, and with some of the screenshots they've been putting out with their different shaders and things are coming out with, the game is looking less and less cartoony kind of a feel and starting to hit kind of that more photorealism look. I know photorealism probably isn't the best term, but it's starting to look a lot more realistic though. So I'm really excited to see other things that they'll improve upon. So I like these side by side comparison shots. So new barn will also be good because I don't know how different the layout will be, how much more difficult it will be to fortify. I did once a series where I took the old barn and tried to fortify that, which I mean it worked out great up until the broken barricading system kicked in. But I think the barns are still a great idea, very open. I had to see though how easy it is to move along the top on the inside, get to the outside, so you can either escape or defend. But I'm looking forward to the new barn. So as we continue on, these are going on to May 25th, which was last Sunday. So this will carry us all through the week pretty much. But Richard Keene on 25th also put he's working on farms, cross-country roads, and cornfields. And as we go look at their blog update, this got a bunch of pictures here you can already see. But they did put in a lot of great pictures showing off exactly what he's doing. Then on the 26th, which was Monday, Jeff Keene posted, "Yeah, I'm pretty darn happy with what we're doing here, and here's some landscapes, yo." Yeah, they are looking very impressive. A lot of the stuff they have working and coming out. Hard to see the ground texture. I know they put out for a while. They were putting a lot of pictures of specifically ground textures, but here's some of that new shrubbery and grass they're talking about. I can't really tell from here, but they look flat. Now I've seen this in games before where they're not bushy. It's hard to explain, but it's like a flat texture. Like here's, it's almost like like paper. I don't know. It's almost like when you were a kid, you made like paper cutouts and you stuck them together where like it's just a flat texture. It's hard to describe. If you look at the picture, they look kind of flat. Um, but if you just kind of look at the scene as a whole, though, you've got a lot of new ground textures, a lot of new shrubbery and stuff that they're talking about. But I have to see how it actually looks in the game. But overall, the shot is impressive. Since it's an open procedurally generated world, it really does give you that sense you can stand right here, and then if you see a point in the distance, you can actually run. And as long as the hill doesn't shoot straight up at a nice 90-degree angle, you can pick a hilltop and say, okay, I'm going to go from here and I'm going to go to that hilltop. But again, starting to look really photorealistic. Some nice changes are coming when you want to go ahead and go cross country. Let's see here, and then later on the 26th, he put one more, a subtle sunrise. Let's see if we can blow that up a little bit. And this is great too because they have been working on their sky system. I know they did a build 13A was to like a hot fix, and they put in the new sky system. It doesn't have all the clouds and stuff yet, and this picture doesn't really do it justice for the potential clouds that I've seen in other shots. But I think their day-night cycle, it looks like it will be a lot more subtle because currently the way it's set with the new sky cycle, it just gets so dark really quick. This might give you some more lighting as the sun actually sets, so that would be nice. That way it's not, you don't feel like you spend a few minutes in daytime and then very long time in darkness. Because it sure doesn't feel like that in the summertime around here, let me tell you. All right, and then we go the 28th, which probably was a Wednesday. So what we're up to today, roads and town generations. Let's see here. Again, kind of pull back. Won't let me make it much bigger. But what was nice is that it looks like the road textures have improved. But looking at some of the screenshots, and because they're improving the way the town layouts are generated, this shot here, it really does look nice. Like you're coming up over a hill or something, and you see a little town laid out at the bottom. It's looking really, really nice. And when we take a look at the blog, you'll see some pictures of how they're linking the roads that connect these little towns. So we won't call them cities. I know I've talked about this before. There's only a few houses. It's really hard to call it a city, maybe a small town. And yeah, throughout, different parts of America or anywhere in the world, really, you're going to have small communities, and then they have to drive to get to the Lelands and stuff like that. So this is really, really starting to kind of pull together that sense of interlinked small communities. And what's nice is in the current system, you can hop on a road, but sometimes the roads seem to go nowhere, or they actually do link up to other little towns, but they're really working on that road system so that they do actually interlink and connect to different towns. So this is very cool that you can have this nice road scene, good new road textures. Hopefully the roads are laid out a lot better under their world generation system, and now you can actually get on the road, follow it, and end up somewhere. And so you can't really see the town very well here in this picture through my screen, but if you go and check it out yourself, it looks really good. You can be up here and then, off in the distance, I see a town. What's waiting for me there? All right, so that's good. Then on the 28th, again, I think that's Wednesday, this guy here, he's Games Unhinged. He posted a live stream, so you'd have to go and click the link, go, and you can watch the recorded video for the live stream. Let's see, Richard Keene on the 29th. Today, lots of work on roads, curves, cross-country connectivity. And again, we'll see that here when we take a look at this picture. We'll blow it up. Let's see here. 29th, so I think that's Thursday. Sketching and writing, I'm doing lots. You're going to need lots of coffee and noodles. They put something here. I guess they're going to do, I don't know if this picture really says much, but hello survivors, there's Jenny and Jeff. I think they're going to do some kind of video series where it's Jenny, I think she's a community manager, and Jeff, the head honcho there. I guess they're going to do some kind of discussion or developer diary type of thing, I'm guessing. They haven't really put too much out about that yet. But I'm thinking they're getting work because it says this something for some vids to come. So I think they're going to put together maybe a developer diary series, which is great. It'd be nice if it was like maybe once a week. Like they got this blog now coming, but video blog, just make it a few minutes, 4 or 5 minutes each week. That would be very cool too, and just talk about some upcoming feature that they're working on. Then on the 30th. Friday is upon us, and then the weekly blog, which we'll just shortly go through the weekly blog and show some of the pictures they're talking about in there. Then also on Friday, don't miss the weekly dead today, which was another link to the blog. Then on the 31st, Saturday, today on the Dead Linger, cross-country road intersections. Said false start, reworking it. So started a system, reworking the code, and then this was probably from Sunday, spooky cornfield. So we take a look. I didn't see like a full-on screenshot Saturday, but if you look in the weekly blog, we'll talk about some of the pictures they posted there. And this looks pretty good. Their new grass textures in. I guess that's a reworking of corn. Or, some of the stuff they might not have reworked. It could just be better looking simply based on the fact that they've got like the new shaders and occlusion and different things that they're putting into their graphics engine. So some things might be the same graphic but rendered and look completely different because of all the graphic updates. So even a cornfield might actually start to feel like a spooky cornfield at night. And trust me, I know the cornfield is tall enough that I have gone running through a cornfield just to run right into some zombies that I wasn't quite expecting. And you know, not that it's like a well, not that it's like super scary, but sometimes you just get that, oh, there they are, and you gotta turn and run a different direction. So good stuff. Again, I can't wait to see it in the game. We're waiting on that build. All right, so let's take a look at the blog. So this is the third blog they put up, and I still think it's great. Some of the pictures we've seen from their tweets, they just stick into the blog. This first one, that's the road screenshot that we showed where you're coming up into a town. Now here's a shot that kind of shows what possibly the road interconnecting can look like. And this is what he said he was restarting, false start. But you kind of get a sense for the possibilities here. Just a little bit of what I remember reading is basically this doesn't show any towns on it, but what it does is the world will kind of, I think there might be a town out there, but what it does is it kind of looks for where some of these roads are, and then it decides or tries to figure out a way how to actually connect them. Now this is very angular and not realistic. I really don't see folks who would lay roads out quite like this in real life, which might be why they're reworking it. But I think when they have it up and running and it actually works better, it will be nice to see how you could have these little towns here and then interconnected with a town over here, because the roads that automatically generate then try to find like a shortest path from one town section to another. And I think that would be very cool to see. Even just the kind of the layout of the land from here, you can kind of see the different shaded areas. This kind of reminds me of aerial photographs I look at, like if you go to Google Map, since I do some wargaming and stuff like that, sometimes you do go look at maps for, like when I do World War II gaming, you try to look at like Kursk or different places, and you see these aerial footages, and it does have like these multicolored patches or blocks, because some areas might be cornfields, wheat fields, wild land, and you kind of get some of that effect here with different sections representing different types of terrain. So this is kind of a cool aerial view. They just need to continue working on the roads, but it's nice to know that's something that they're working on, because we've run into some pretty crazy road situations in the past, so that would be fun to see them update. And then here they're talking about some curves. So that last screenshot we showed was pretty much all straight angles, but here they're actually putting in some nice curves. Now again, they might not be laid out in the most realistic of ways. That seems kind of weird to put like a big old U-turn right in the right in the middle of a forest. But again, it's nice to see that it won't just be all straight angles like it has been before, but more curves. And I think there was some shots in here where it shows how it linked up with some towns. That might have been the old post. Anyway, before we scroll down too much. But here's some nice textures they're working on. So I think, I don't know how much of the old road textures and graphics they're keeping, but these new ones definitely look pretty good. Solid yellow line. I don't know if they'll go between like dashed yellows and solid yellows, but the texture looks really nice on that road. And then they have like some dirt trails. Not quite sure where or how they intermingle the dirt trails and the roads and stuff like that, but it'd be very cool to see through some of the woods. You get some of these dirt trails, but the textures are looking good. I mean, they've done a really great job picking out new textures to use. Here's an example of like a little dirt trail leading up to the house or away from it. There's the old farmhouse. Even that looks really good under some of the new graphics engine that they're doing. It looks really nice. I haven't really seen any screenshots of how survivors will look or how the zombies necessarily look under the new graphics, but we are seeing a lot of environmental effects. So hopefully survivors and zombies are going through some graphical updates soon too. Here's a cornfield, not quite as creepy as the nighttime picture, but how the cornfield looks. And I don't know if those are new texture or new textures for the corn, or if that's just how they look rendered in their new updates. Here's corn rows here. Pull back a little bit. There's some cornfields. And then the new barn. And then here's some more renders here. I mean, the renders look nice. It's like a generic military force, so they don't have to keep up with any kind of actual services or anything like that. This is all kind of like their own take on different military figures you could run into, which would be interesting. If they're already working on military, I could see, and this was something we talked about before, do we want NPCs in our game? I'm not a big fan of NPCs necessarily. Kind of break that immersion. I mean, granted, your zombies and stuff like that are non-player characters, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to see, you know, other survivors or military forces unless they're kind of in a very limited amounts. I'm not quite sure how these will play into the game, but they did have some nice drawings here of different like biohazard levels or armored up levels. As you can see here, they got different types of helmets, breathing equipment, armor, and of course then they had a picture here of this guy. super big armor there. Yeah, it would be very tough for zombies to bite through these different sections here. Very puffy. And then these shoes were really nice. Oh, I can't blow them up. Just a nice rework of like some of the hiking shoes they have in the game now. So it even looks like whatever engine well, I know they're using Unity, but I mean, however that they're doing their graphics and stuff, it's nice to see that you can have like some pretty high poly, high textured, high resolution textures on some of the equipment. So I haven't seen a whole lot other than like a backpack they've done, like the Kickstarter backpack, some different backpacks, and now these shoes. It seems like really a lot of their effort has been spent in the environment. I haven't really seen or heard a whole lot about like equipment, gear, and the survivors specifically. So it'll be nice to see them when they start moving away from kind of the base elements of the game world and can start focusing in on things of like the characters specifically. And then it says here, Jeff is working on something but can't tell you what it is yet. So I first saw this and it almost looked like the Jawa carrier from Star Wars with a big old gun on the top. But here in the picture, if you just kind of look a little bit more, you can see wheels. And so it made me think of like when we talk about the roadmap and some of the different vehicles that we want to see that are armored up and protected, like an RV. So here it's like a heavily armored RV, but it's just a concept drawing, so you can't really see anything other than, it's possible we're going to start getting some concept artwork, and they're starting to plot and plan for potential vehicles. So there is just a concept. And they got some development quotes. Really didn't look different than last time. What? Vehicles. Yeah, my son came out. He's just excited by the fact that they might start getting vehicles in the Dead Linger other than a bicycle. Now, looking at some of the posts, I know they did talk about, I think one of these, it might not have been in this one, but the bicycle, I think they said they're working on because of some of the issues they see with bicycles. So, come check out the website. They've got the actual information that you can read here in the blog. I was just showing you the pictures, and then, check the tweets out yourself. Again, if you want to follow someone specifically, like if you click on Hacker Girl or Richard Keene, sometimes you can see a lot more posts than what they put here on the main page related to the game. So, come and check things out for yourself. That's just kind of a wrap up for the previous week. But I haven't really posted a whole lot of gameplay. So if you've been waiting for gameplay, I honestly don't think I'm going to hop back in until Build 14 comes out. Just because, unfortunately, even with Build 14, I haven't really heard about any big underlying bug issues that they're fixing. Most of the pictures have all been about their graphic update, which, is what they said. This is mostly a graphics update build. The bugs and stuff like that are something, just a part of life of an alpha. But my hope is, they're spending a lot of time getting in here and setting up the framework and the foundation for their new graphics engine that they can then maybe shift gears and start working on some of the bugs. And I honestly think that for me, the three things that I want to see first would be barricading fixed, the hunger system that doesn't reset whenever you log out of the game and come back in, and what was my third one? I used to have a third one. I can't remember what it is now because it's been a while since I've gone in there and played. But the reason why I picked those two is one, because barricading is kind of what they're, you know, really selling the game on. You know, this open world freeform barricading, which is cool and all. Oh, the duplicating items, that's the third thing. But the barricading the way it is now, it's frustrating to use and nothing stays in place. You know, it might be there for a day or two, but eventually it all moves, and so you can't really freeform build structures. You can't really barricade a place because you're constantly having to tear it down and replace it. So you really don't have that sense of I've left my mark on the world because your mark is constantly changing. The hunger bar resetting, you know, if you feel like you're about to die from starvation, all you gotta do is just quit the game and then relaunch your saved game, and then your hunger bar and everything replenishes. So that takes away from some of the importance of having to find food. That and the duplicating items. The only reason I've been in some of the games so successful in taking down hordes of zombies with ammunition and stuff is because, well, my ammunition just respawns after a while. I get, you know, boxes of ammo that come back. So I always have a constant, steady supply of ammunition. So there's really not a need to go and explore and move from town to town to town. So those three things, the sooner we can get those fixed, then you know, I'd like to see new additions and features. But if they can just get those few basic things fixed, then on top of this new graphics engine, it really would be a completely new game, and then you would have something worth playing. Because as it stands, I can just stay in one little location and not really do anything, and I'm completely safe, protected, food, I'm good to go forever. But once you put in, you know, get rid of the duplicating items and your hunger bar doesn't reset, now I'm going to be forced to explore the world and move out. So I'm going to wait for build 14, see what comes my way. I don't expect too much to be fixed in the way of bugs, but I'll go back to playing it because it would be nice to see how the game looks when you play it. Like, I want to see how the cabin in the wood looks once you get in there. So very excited for the next build. Hope we start to see some more release progress on that. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out and checking out the Twitter review, and I will look forward to talking to all of you later. All right, take care. Bye.